Scanning for audio.
Welcome to another short podcast for reasons which are, well, fairly obvious and were explained yesterday. Today I'm covering the second of the Torchwood Lost Files. That's the Radio 4 short audios. I say short, they're the same length as a TV series episode. And yes, there's no gratuitous sex and violence. Well, there might be some violence, but on radio it just sounds like people tearing cabbages apart. No, this is very, very good. It's available on today at 2:15 on Radio 4, but also available on the website and to download from the iTunes site. So what's it about? Well, Radio 4's website says, in Ryan Scott's episode, Torchwood are chasing aliens down the M4 when Jack accidentally blows a hole in the Severn Bridge and the SUV hits the water. Whilst submerged, John, Gwen and Ianto hear strange noises, which, back at the hub, they realise is a cry for help. They track the cry back to its source, which turns out to be the deepest part of the ocean, the Mariana Trench. Ianto rings old Torchwood flame Carlie Roberts, who's an expert in marine geology, and Jack pulls strings with the US government to get them all on board the USS Calvin, which is heading for the trench. From there on, they're on board the Octopus Rock, the only submarine built to withstand the pressures at that depth. Follow the signal. When the submarine crashes, the team are left at the mercy of a hungry alien. Except I didn't know any of this when I started listening to it. Because it's radio. You get to do wonderful things. You get to blow a hole in the Severn Bridge, and no one bats an eyelid. Because it's acceptable. You don't need to see it, so it looks so much better. Yes, Ianto's still here, so it's still set during Series 2. Again, a good thing. Now, obviously, being a Doctor Who fan, you start trying to find things. There's a lovely little reference to a sonic screwdriver. And the minute you go under the water, your sci-fi head starts ticking. You've got the Abyss. You've got the Kraken Awakes. Hell, you've got Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea if you want a man in a rubber suit. This is Torchwood, and talk of men in rubber suits is a totally different ballgame. No, it's just good. Of course it's Doctor Who, so you start thinking, oh, sea devils. Maybe Zygons. Is that a Merker outside? Or is it just not? I'm going to go for just not. Because it's Radio 4. Yes, Doctor Who does great things with small casts and small places. Radio does great things with small casts and small places, and this is ideal. Stories where people have communicators and have to describe what's going on. Perfect for radio, and that's what this is. It's tightly scripted, tightly performed, and, well, good. Yes, having to use all three members of the Torchwood team, well, 4 in this case, kind of stretches things a bit because you start thinking why are they all there, but that's not a problem. You do start wondering where the other 2 members are, but let's not go there, shall we? Not just now. Look, it's very good, and I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's play. But best of all, beyond all of that, this is the first reference of a Torchwood stroke unit crossover.
That is, right in front of us.
The USS Calvin?
I pulled rank with unit, mentioned the Doctor 57 times, so this is now an official Torchwood Unit Alliance. And that's an Arleigh Burke class destroyer, ready to escort us to the trench. All aboard, shipmates.
What more do you need from a radio play than that? Yes, Torchwood has its roots in the unit era. That's never going to be denied, and it's never really going to be a problem. It does mean that Torchwood's going to end up dealing with similar plots and similar threads and similar, well, threats to the Earth that unit used to deal with during the Pertwee era. A Torchwood or not unit. And that really becomes clear. Torchwood really would blow up the Silurians just to keep them in their place, and they do it in episode 1. Right, I'll go now. I'll bid you farewell, and I'll speak to you tomorrow, where we deal with the House of the Dead. So until then, be seeing you.
But to get that, I'd have to become mortal. And that's never gonna happen. So I'm never gonna know.
In Submission, Captain Jack Harkness
was played by John Barrowman, Gwen Cooper by Eve Miles, and Ianto Jones by Gareth David Lloyd. Carlie Roberts was played by Erin Bennett, and Sam by Angelo Tiffy. Captain Cudlow was played by John Francis Harris, and Henry by John Lee. Submission, part of Torchwood The Lost Files, was written by Ryan Scott. It was a BBC Cymru Wales production, directed by Kate McCall.
You have been listening to the Tin Dog Podcast. Doctor Who and its associated shows are all trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Contact us at tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk.